I feel like I built my businesses in the dark without doing social media, nothing. We just picked up the phone and sent emails, right? And when I joined Hampton, I didn't know that community existed. And then I noticed that everybody was doing this personal brand thing. And I see the value in it, but I'm like, I already lost.
This episode of Founder Mode is brought to you by Winston Francois. Need to scale your company fast, smart, and without the headache? That's where Winston Francois comes in. We're not an agency. We embed a custom growth team inside your business, driving strategy, product, marketing, analytics, creative, and lifecycle as one unified system. With decades of experience building billion-dollar brands and scaling early-stage companies, Winston Francois gets in the trenches with you. We don't advise from the sidelines. We build, execute, and leave you with a growth engine you can run on your own. Accelerate your growth at wf.team/podcast. That's wf.team/podcast.
Hey, welcome to Founder Mode.
Yeah, where we talk to interesting people going a little bit against the grain.
Dude, today's episode's going to be interesting for sure.
Yes.
And his guest runs a design agency, IT firm, and somehow tells people to unfollow him.
Yeah, he's proof that you don't need an audience to scale. You just need clarity, systems, and a pretty good sense of humor.
Jason, so you've got this strategy when you sell that's Jonathan has his anti-sales strategy. What's yours and how have you sort of done this?
Yeah, so over the years building my consultancy, I have sent a number of emails to founders and CEOs after using their products and have said, hey, this is broken, this doesn't work. One of my favorite ones is I was working with a neobank and I had $1 million of cash in their online checking account for my business, right? Which let's not even talk about treasury and why that's a bad idea, but things were blowing up, things were going well. There's $1 million in this account. And I reached out to the founder because I couldn't easily get a check, like a checkbook and write a check and pay someone with a check. And I was like, hey, I think I've outgrown your little bank. And here's all the reasons why. And it wasn't just the check thing. There were several other features that they just didn't have that regular banks have. And so I emailed him all the bullets of, hey, this is why I'm leaving. Like the subject line was leaving and then the name of the company. And he wrote back and he's like, whoa, hey, this is really great feedback. And I just LinkedIn stalked you and it seems like you know a few things about growth and marketing and stuff. Could you maybe help us? I was like, sure. And then that turned into a 6-figure consulting deal. No joke.
Jonathan's a founder who's behind two really, really cool growing companies and, built without the hype and the noise and doesn't really, performative post on social media. And that'll, I think, in a sense, will be a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah, he calls himself a little bit of an anti-influencer, but his playbook appears to be working. You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to Founder Mode.
Welcome to my dungeon.
This is the best.
We invited you on, Jonathan. One, you're in this awesome founder community with us called Hampton. And two, you are maybe the weirdest guy on LinkedIn. You might be your headline is something to the effect of decrease your reach, unfollow me to learn how to decrease your reach and ruin your personal brand. And there's something about that's just really admirable. So maybe we could just start with what the heck is going on? Can you help us? We're just two regular guys trying to grow our reach. We're doing it wrong on LinkedIn. Let's figure this out.
I feel like I built my businesses in the dark without doing social media, nothing. We just picked up the phone and sent emails, right? And when I joined Hampton, I didn't know that community existed. And then I noticed that everybody was doing this personal brand thing and I see the value in it, but I'm like, I already lost. I feel like that it's over. And when you see people trying to become famous, I'm like, wow, what a loser. And then there's people in Hampton, I'm not going to name names, that are way more successful than me. And then I happen to have 3 more followers than them, but they're trying. And I'm like, it just feels off to me because I'm like, and then there's something also real about the fact that, who cares, man? I think if you always talk about the thing that you're trying to do and you're like, keep posting, keep trying, keep posting, eventually you stop talking about what you're actually doing. You're just talking about the function of posting and trying to get engagement and whatever. So it is a critique on us founders being like, what are we doing? Just if you want to make a sale, just call someone. You can go ask for the credit card now instead of hoping that you have an audience, even though I do see the value of it. And wouldn't it be cool if we could just post and get 1 million customers? Yes.
You can. It's just got to be a really particular post.
Yeah. I think that the other thing too that bugs me is some people are doing rage bait at all costs.
No.
So they're literally like, have you seen this guy? I made fun of him the other day. I don't know if you saw my post, but he takes a screenshot of a celebrity like Cody Sanchez or whatever, or Samuel Parr. And then he puts a big red arrow and says, stop doing this. And then he gives this like,
Yeah.
all this BS
I trolled that guy
what,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he has another post where he's like, look at all these impressions. I'm like, who cares, man? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, and where this got really bad was when X first turned on monetization. People were going crazy to hit the 5 million impressions, and it was all about like, what could you say the most negative thing or rage thing to like people to comment and get impression? And it's like, what? Get $12 from Elon? Like, come on, like this doesn't make sense, dude.
So doing all this stuff, to your point, like you're not trying to grow your businesses, or you are? Because you have 2 businesses. Can you just help people know, what are you doing? What are you working on?
Dude, Kevin, you put scaled Microsoft in your thing. That makes me feel really bad about myself. Thanks a lot. Jeez.
What the truth hurts, John.
I know, crazy. I went
But
to the
then I feel
bathroom
bad
7
because now I
times.
feel like I'm trying, because you said people that are trying. I'm like, I just tried
That's
to
true.
put what out there.
We're both
That's
trying.
true.
We're here on a podcast interviewing him, and then he's turning around. He's asking us questions. We're
best.
pointing the
Yeah,
camera back at you, man.
I do respect you less for being more successful. There is something there.
Challenge accepted.
This whole thing, like, when did you decide, okay, so you said, I joined Hampton, I realized all these people built their personal brands, it's over for me, there's no way I'm going to do it at this point, so I'm just going to do the opposite, is kind of what you said.
Yeah.
But then, but in service of what? It sounds like nothing, but you also have these couple of companies you're running, so what's the point of it all?
I decided to just have fun with it and make myself laugh. And sometimes, like, my wife's not on the internet, but sometimes I'll show her a screenshot and she'll be like, oh my God.
Oh my God, that's so funny, or oh my God, what are you doing?
Dude, you know the answer. It's like,
Just saying.
why are we still married? Oh my God.
That can't be the only thing that comes up.
Yeah. It's a trend. So, I mean, look, the truth is that I posted a picture of a beluga the other day and I said, I've never made money on LinkedIn. And then some guy offered to Venmo me some money. So there's something there, you know. I did spend 2 weeks begging influencers for $20 to see if they'll do it. And some of them were like, because, you know, like people that have screenshots, I think this is the most humanizing thing ever. They post a screenshot of how amazing they are and how much money they make. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Can I have $20? And then you find out who they really are.
Dude, we had an employee once that we joked. He was the kind of guy where if you have 10 sticks of gum, will you give me one? And you're like, yeah, sure. He's like, if you have $10, will you give me one? We're like, yeah, sure. And he's like, if you have 10 million, will you give me one? And we're like, I don't know. Like, but
What
the
are you giving me in
$20
return?
depends how big the check is, I guess.
I'm not gay, but $1 million is $1 million. So yeah, I have 2 businesses. The one that I came in from Hampton on, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I'm unemployable. I have ADHD. I should be in prison. Did you know that most people in prison are ADHD?
Really?
It's a thing.
And they're smartest.
Yeah, but so I came in with Dingus and Zazzy, which is my marketing company.
What's dingus?
Dingus it's an insult from most people think I took it from The Simpsons, but I actually took it from Dr. Steve Brule. You know that guy?
I learned something.
You guys are too cultured. Don't Google it. It's like brain rot from
Perfect.
20 years ago. And Zazzy is from another TV show, I forget. And they're dead. But and that's why me and
They're your cats. They were your cats, though.
yeah, it's funny because you and I, like, we bonded.
Yeah,
on
I
this
have the
whole
dog
thing.
company. You have the cat company. My dogs are still alive, just hanging on, barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved houses and moved to the country, and then they wanted to go out, and then they must have got eaten by an eagle or something. I don't know. Dude, I've always wanted to ask you, Winston Francois, is there, because I'm French, so in my mind, I'm like, is there like a British, French, English angle in that, or what?
Basically. So my wife, when I met her, had Francois, the Frenchie. He's a French bulldog. They're both French bulldogs. And she's like, I always wanted to get another one and name him. And so it was after the French philosopher Francois Lyotard, because my wife's super bougie, and he was like a purse dog and the whole thing. And then we got Winston together after we started dating. And so Winston is the Winston Churchill. He's also a French bulldog, but he has floppy ears and he kind of looks like a mini English. And
Dude,
so
I
it's
could
just
never
very
imagine
fitting.
your dogs being purse dogs. They're big.
You look
when
like
Frank was a puppy, he would fit in a big purse. So
you look like the kind of guy who would have an Instagram for their dogs.
yeah, of course. She did have one.
There you go.
I
Call it.
should have, but I never got it going.
Locked.
But Yeah, totally on point. But I got to tag on that, Jonathan, because you keep turning this around, which is really cool. But you have this thing that you do on LinkedIn, and I'm guessing you're going to start doing it on Twitter too. Every time Sam Parr posts, you respond with, Sam's the kind of guy that blank. And like, and he, at the same time, Sam sometimes like calls you out, shouts you out, and he's like, that's so cool, that's great. And like, he seems to love you, and the trolling of him doesn't seem to bother him. So I want to understand the strategy behind the Sam troll.
There's no strategy. The funny thing is that LinkedIn learned that all I care about is Sam Parr. So now I'm always first to market. Every time he posts, it's the first thing
you
that shows
hashtag
up on my app.
first. And you're the first thing that he probably sees. You know, your friends, you're like each seeing each other's posts every morning.
Yeah, I don't know. When I joined Hampton, I had no idea what My First Million was. I had no idea who Sam was. The first thing I did is I came in and I'm like, dude, you're just an AI. You're not here. Who are you? And he like responded with a million spelling mistakes, probably to try to prove how human he was and how fast he was moving. But I just felt, I'm like, okay, all these people love this guy. Like, he's probably really cool. I actually before I started doing that, I was writing things like, hey, Sam, this is a great post. But by the way, you left your Pokemon Snap video game at my house when you came over last weekend. Is there any chance you could pick it up? I don't want to be responsible if it gets lost in a couch cushion or something. And it's just me trying to you know what? This came from high school. We used to do this in high school. There would be the cool kids, and we were not them. And we would go to Devin and be like, hey, man, you still coming to Dungeons and Dragons this weekend? And he would like look at his friends. I'm not going with them. What? And then we would just walk away. And then so we would try to implicate people. It's kind of like when you call somebody a Nazi, you have to defend I'm not a Nazi. So in the same way, if you call out an influencer and say, hey, man, you left your sweater, your Harry Potter sweater at my house.
Nick's also,
there was a guy that was just calling him out on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was actually being mean to Nick Huber. I'm like, I'm going to take this idea. And I gave him credit. I messaged him. I'm like, dude, I think you're hilarious. I'm going to steal your shtick and bug Sam Parr with this. And then I do it in a way that is poking fun at the fact that he's just a human and he probably wipes his ass just like us. But I feel like he just has all these people that want to be his friend, and I just want to bring him down a notch and remind him that he's just one of us in the end.
And then you guys hugged it out, right? You had a ground rule before we started. You don't want to talk about artificial intelligence or AI.
Right.
So I did, and that means I have to put $1 in the swear jar. But I want to talk about the businesses that you've started a little bit, so people that are listening aren't like, what have I gotten myself into? The thing that I remember most about you when I first met you is that you have built this crazy kind of almost Wolf of Wall Street boiler room cold calling culture in, I think now both of your companies, but definitely in Dingus and Zazie, which is when I first learned about it. And you basically have been able to build these businesses on the back of like just sending tons of cold email and cold LinkedIn and cold phone calls and getting clients who have never heard of you before. You seem like the kind of guy that's not going to work on everybody. Jonathan's the kind of guy that would offend some portion of the population, but the ones that aren't offended decide to hire you guys. Like, how did we get here?
I'll answer the Wolf of Wall Street thing. Like it's a real thing. Like we got evicted from our co-working space. So there was a co-working space and we had the majority of it, but there was all these other like real companies like taxes, accounting, like there's a massage, like a therapy place.
Whoa.
So we were screaming all day, hitting the gong, yelling, and just having fun. But then finally they sent us a screenshot of another tenant that said, hey, they meant this as an insult, but they said, this is like a 10-year-old's birthday party meets Wolf of Wall Street. This needs to stop. And I was like, oh my God, this is
That's our tagline.
So it actually forced me to buy a commercial building and I got it cash. It was a really good deal. Everything works out for a good reason, but I had to pivot because I live in the middle of nowhere, Leduc, Alberta. You've never heard of it. And it's a suburb of Edmonton. And there's only so much population that is even willing to drive
sounds
here.
cold, man.
Yeah, it's freezing, man. It's -7 today. I think I'm the northernmost Hampton member. There's Levon, who's in Estonia, but he doesn't live there. He lives in America. And then it's just me at the top of the world. So figuratively and literally.
There it is.
So I actually hired VP of Sales, who was the VP of Sales for Hampton, David Dollar, who's not Jewish, by the way. With that name, I'm like, how? He's just a regular white guy with the name Dollar.
Amazing.
And so he's in Atlanta. And he was like, he found it difficult to have half of his team remote and then half in person. So we ended up doing everybody remote. And it did take a little bit of wind out of the sails of the culture. Like you can't be at home with your cat and be like freaking out. So that did do some damage to that fun culture. But at the same time, though, like there is a part of me that's like, I would have people being like, this is a liability. You can't do this. You can't do that. And you're right. This is not a good idea. We're running a business. Let's cut some of the shenanigans. So hopefully that answers that part of that.
What kind of crazy stuff have you guys seen in this IT kind of world so far?
I'll answer it in a different way. So the way that it came to be was that I have a marketing company, and it sounds dumb now and boring, but back when we were doing like unlimited marketing for the entire month, people paid a flat rate. If Oprah came to sign up, we would charge her the same thing. That was revolutionary back then. And there was a huge pile-on, and everybody told me like it wasn't possible. And I knew it was a dumb idea, but I just went with it anyways. But it did work out. It was almost like it's like a gym membership where there's a couple of meatheads that are there all the time, and then I have a membership. I should go more often, and you kind of bank on the fact that not everybody shows up at once.
The breakage model.
Yeah, so that worked out. It went well. It's an 8-figure business with over 100 people. But one thing I hate about marketing is that you could be amazing at doing your job, but the person on the other end could just not like it because they're having having that kind of day. Whereas IT, so when I was looking at everything in my business, I'm like, what would I cry? Like would I have a funeral if this person, this department, I was like, what is the thing that I actually need that's binary? And then I landed on IT because I'm like, oh my God, I'm never mad at my IT guy unless he's slow, but everything is either done or it's not done. It's binary.
It's binary. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no more opinions. There's no more.
It's objective. It's 1 or 0.
Exactly. So me and my co-founder, Deep, who is my IT guy, we decided to pull in Erica, my COO. So there's 3 of us, 3 co-founders from D&Z. So we have the same DNA. There's still like a lot of fun that's being brought over. But a lot of poop jokes. And we bought the domain. We bought it for $73,000, which I think is a great deal.
I think it's a great deal.
Yeah.
I would have guessed more than 100. Easily.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT did, and the average is like 200,000 for a 4-letter domain that means something.
Yeah.
That's not just an acronym. And so the idea that we're doing is it's a managed service provider. It's an MSP. It's an IT company where we fix printers, but we don't do it in person. So we're not going to drive to someone's house.
Yep.
Everything's remote, and we're working with teams that have Slack or they have agencies or whatever. But the big differentiator that we're doing right now is that I took it a step further. Okay. I believe that I'm the only company on planet Earth right now that does a free trial, first of all, for IT. Nobody's doing that. It's all request a quote. Then they look at your head count and they're like, how much can I get from this guy? So not only is there a free trial, but on top of that, when they're done with this, you get to choose the price that you think it's worth. And you can never hate the price. It came from your own brain.
I have to ask this then. Kevin will do your trial for one of his companies.
Cool.
He will then sign up for $1.
I'm actually paying Hampton members right now.
$1 a month. Is that?
But if somebody goes and does the trial and then pays you $1, you're just like, did the service scale to $1 level, or how do you?
You can only afford $1. So go tell all your rich friends about how crazy we are.
But I'm saying, like, Kevin's not poor and he might only pay $1. How do you think rich people got rich, John?
No.
It's funny because so far, I'm not going to tell you the range because I don't want to actually muddy the water.
It'll change the game.
But so far it's been super reasonable.
People are picking real prices. Then they're actually
people are
being
picking
honorable.
real prices,
high integrity.
However, like we put this in the FAQ. It's like when you're taking your kids out trick-or-treating for Halloween, some people leave a basket of candy. Most kids are taking 1 or 2, but then you got that one empty it into his bag. And I'm building that into my projections where I'm like, eventually somebody's going to come gut us. But I have a story to tell now. And I reached out to a few like keynote stages and some PR like myself. I didn't go through a PR company. I'm just messaging myself. And I'm like, this is radical, right? Put me on a stage. Let's talk about this. And there's been very good interest.
It's a warm up. I like the idea. Like what? So like, how do tickets get? I'm like nerdy out like this. Like I see all this in my inbox, and I'm like, I need like an IT guy to go fix it. I'm gonna end up doing it, or I give it to one of my VAs. Like, how do people file tickets? They send you emails. They go. What access do you have to have? Do you need the keys to the castle?
Okay, here's another. Here's another way where I think we kick ass. Okay.
Yeah.
As a founder, do you think that I want to go and submit a ticket?
No.
So I want to talk to a guy and be like, can you help me? And they'll submit the ticket for me and they keep track of it for me. I don't want to go to some website and fill out a form.
No.
I know that's what you should do. But right now we're in their Slack and they're like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. We make the ticket for them and track it and keep them updated.
So it's
we're the
all
ones
just
making
Slack to Slack.
Yeah.
And then how do you deal with access? Do I have to share like my login to everything, or what's that? Like, how do you actually get the work done?
That's a very good question because it's very trust based.
Yeah.
With a free trial, that's the other reason why I think we're going to dominate, because we show people how responsive we are, how competent we are, and we earn trust after 30 days. But during the first 30 days, we're usually picking some like small projects that don't require us to have your Google admin access to start helping. Some people have signed up with Hampton and they just know me. But outside of that, the free trial is where the trust is built. And then the people that we have working on our team are people that have my banking information and could Like it's a very high level of trust. And that's something that's interesting. When I was starting this business, I was like, I think we need to be serious because we're dealing with cybersecurity. We're dealing with people getting phishing emails or whatever. And just to ship it, we launched this page and we put a bunch of jokes in it because I can't help myself. So at the bottom of our page, there's me and my designer. We were talking about, there's a Pierce Morgan, Jordan Peterson interview where he's all beat red and he's like yelling and pointing. So we use that as inspiration. And at the bottom of the page, we're like, click this button, do it. And then Sam, out of nowhere, I didn't ask him to do this. He like threatened me that I owe him a favor. I never asked him, but he posted it on X and then it went viral. We had a buttload of signups, and then Jason Fried from Basecamp was retweeting it, and there's still people tweeting about it. And it's crazy because me and my designer and our team were laughing because we never tried. Like we could never create this moment. It's just lightning in a bottle. It's here now, gone forever. We could never have anybody care about it ever again.
Is there of what you do or don't do? Okay, you'll change my DNS, change my thing. What is the like limit of like, hey, go reconfigure my Linux boxes? Is there like a of where you guys think about where IT? Because some of these MSPs are like can do lots of things. Some are just like email and like website stuff.
Yeah, we've said no to certain things and have passed them on to like much bigger experienced firms for like migration. Okay. Like for example, somebody came to us and they wanted to merge two businesses from different continents with all like thousands of employees, and we're like, dude, are you kidding? Imagine you're charging $1 a month for that. We say no to those kind of things. And anything that has to do with in person, if somebody wants like
of course,
physically a tech guy to come and turn it on and off again, then it's not for us. We met with an oil and gas company and they were technically a good fit. But I find that if they're not an internet company and they're like a warehouse or their guys don't have Slack and they just email each other, we're going to say no because it's like putting your digital pants on. If we have to get you dressed in the morning to talk to us, then we're not going to show value for that.
But are grinding the phones and like cold calling, same model to build clients like from this side?
No, because we have had our plate full just from word of mouth and all that stuff. But I do plan on doing the same exact thing, building a call center and calling people. I just love it. Honestly, it's fun. Like I look at everybody else.
Talk about it a little bit. So like you're wearing the cold calling headset right now. So like for those who've never done cold calling ever, and there's a lot of founders who are like, I'm never going to do that. That's wrong. It's gross. I don't like it. But you're like a huge advocate of it. So can you just talk about it?
Yeah, because it's recession proof. I'm not worried about a next COVID or whatever, because you can dial your way out of problems. You could interrupt your way to $1 billion. Like you're just X amount of calls. Whereas anybody who's building their audience and trying to post every day, they're just crossing their fingers. Whereas you could just call somebody and be like, hey, look, man, I know I'm calling you out of the blue. I know I'm catching you off guard. Give me 30 seconds. I'll tell you why I called. Excellent. I talk to CMOs all the time, man. They deal with X, Y, and Z. And I know you can relate to at least one of these. Which one stood out to you the most? We're digging up a pain. And as soon as the pain comes up, then we stop talking. Dude, I know you're at Costco. You're buying a $1.50 hot dog. Like I caught you off guard. We're not here to solve the world's problems. Let's book a time tomorrow. I have 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because of the whole, you got to treat them like a toddler and not give them any other options. Which one works best for you? And then, oh, by the way, you're going to be meeting with my director. He runs Winston Francois. He has a $50 gift card for you. It could be like Amazon, Starbucks, Nintendo, whatever you want. And I know your time's worth more, but it's a token of my appreciation for you just taking the time. Get them to confirm the meeting. They show up on the call. And then during that call, it's all scripted. It's science. It's literally, we have a script. All our salespeople are saying the exact same thing. So it's like a mathematical thing. At 4 p.m. every day, all the salespeople get together and they listen to their game tape and say, why did you steer away from here? Oh, you thought he was important? No, the script doesn't change just because you're meeting with the guy who has that kind of face.
And I agree with you. Like for what you guys do, the thing we can't talk about doesn't really work that well for high intent.
We're almost out of time, John. This has been actually really interesting. Give us the
I don't blame you. Honestly, I would love to hang out with me.
Yeah, no, I'm just being nice. We say that to everybody. Like it's been like mediocre, but cool. But tell us where you're going next. Like what? So after you've got Dingus and Zazie, you got what's the next big thing for the Jonathan Sturgeon Albanian enterprise?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think like that. I personally think I literally made a neon sign that's in the other room that says we're all gonna die, and I made it in pink because I wanted to like mellow out the harshness of it. I'm like, okay, I better just take advantage of today. So to answer your question, I'm focusing on my businesses. I am also building a restaurant right next door in this other unit. And that's like my hobby. I'm from Montreal. So it is, I'm doing
poutine. It's poutine.
It's pronounced poutine, but sure. But good knowledge, by the way. And I'm doing so you guys probably know Cat's Deli in New York City.
Yeah.
So that's pastrami, and I'm doing the Montreal smoked meat from the Russian Jews, similar like lineage, but it's a dry cured, not pastrami, and I prefer it. And there's the Schwartz in Montreal that I'm like labeling it after. So I'm doing like Montreal, like old school Jewish deli like style stuff, and that is like a fun passion project. And all these like
That's so
Hampton like super bros are like, your returns are gonna suck, right? And I'm like, yeah, like it's an art project.
Yeah, and that's it's art.
Yeah.
It's
What's
an
the best that
investment.
you're gonna pull out? Like $100,000 salary? And I'm like, dude, if it breaks even and I'm having fun and I have my own restaurant food like right there, like it's a win.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? What's your you have
The
your
internet.
Twitter now or something you said?
Yeah, I'm
X?
at 199 followers today. I'm like,
Well, yeah, give us your handles.
get you
You
over
made
to
us give you ours earlier. So
it's
so
at I'm into moms, which is very true. That's it.
so that's
then,
X, and then on LinkedIn you're just Jonathan Sturgeon, right?
Yeah.
And what are the URLs? We talked about one of them for the two companies.
Uh-oh.com and Dingus, like the insult, and Zazzy, Z-A-Z-Z-Y. You guys say Z or Z? No, us, we're Z. Yeah, I'm like assimilating. I think I'm going to move to America, to be honest. I'm
Good.
talking to some people, and I'm
Join
making
us.
this is the best plug for Hampton ever. Clip this, send it to them, charge them $1 billion to hear me say this. I am making my America move decision based on where Hampton IRL is happening.
New York.
Or one of
no, I
the
want-
other cities.
I'm thinking Miami.
You want to be warm finally.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
But I could go anywhere, but I'm like, no, I need a Hampton IRL.
IRL.
people.
this has
Yeah.
been
Dude, that's
awesome, man.
genius.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks for coming. This has been awesome. Dude, that was a very different interview than we usually do, but I liked it.
Yeah, I think he's the first guest that started asking us questions, and you were actually right. I did get a little uncomfortable. What were your top 5, Kevin?
Yeah, it was funny like watching you squirm a little bit because you're like, oh, it's not the script, or we knew we were going to go off script, but not this far. And yeah, it was cool. So yeah, the 5 things that I think back is like, one, that's just, the idea, his new company, it's like a free IT trial. You pay for what you believe it's worth, and it's all through Slack, focused on digital founders. And so I think that is a novel idea, especially like my roommate from college being in IT for 20 some years now. It's just a very different model than I think how a lot of those companies work. The second is this anti-influencer thing, trolling Sam Parr, decreasing his reach, joking about LinkedIn, and now kicking it an X. And so definitely give Jonathan a follow, and let's see how his sort of antics scales to the X platform, which my sense is it'll do even better than LinkedIn.
Yes.
And then cold calling, right? This idea of running through the Hormozi script, closer, gift cards to like value people's time. And then this notion of, hey, that's a recession proof thing. You can call and always find new customers because you just got to reach out and touch them. And then I think the whole Dingus and Zazzy story of Wolf of Wall Street, their marketing, the eviction, and then, the remote nature of the business and how that works or doesn't work for these sort of like high intensity sort of call center models. And then finally, like he's starting off this cool restaurant, the Montreal Smoked Meat Deli, really a passion project. And as much as people are saying, hey, don't start a restaurant, he's look, it's art over profit. And I think we'll have to find a way to make a trip up there and try it out sometime.
So if this one made you rethink how to grow without chasing attention or audience, share it with a founder who needs the reminder.
And subscribe to Founder Mode. No growth hacks, just conversations that help you build better. That's it for today. Sometimes the best way to stand out is not trying to.